to the Monday, October 20th, 2025 meeting of the Montpelier Design Review Committee. We'll let members and staff introduce themselves.
Jim Cheney, member.
Meredith Crandall, staff.
Stephen Everett, member.
Martha Smirsky, member.
Rebecca Owens, member.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. At this point, we'll let Meredith review the remote meeting procedures and process.
Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen. The stuff on the screen is more for people who might be watching the meeting via Orca, but there's tips and tricks for everybody who's on remotely. So for anyone viewing tonight's Design Review Committee meeting via Orca Media, you can participate in the discussion via the Zoom platform through either video or telephone access options. For the full video experience, please type this link into your web browser. Alternatively, you can dial in from any phone using this phone number, and when prompted, put in this meeting ID. Under either of those options, I will get a notification that you want to get into the meeting and be able to let you in. If you have problems accessing the meeting, please email me at mcrandall@montpelier-vt.org. For those attending via Zoom, turning your video on is optional. And actually, if you're having issues with sound quality, turning off your video makes a big difference. For everyone attending, please keep your microphone on mute when you're not speaking. This will help reduce background noise. And note that the Zoom chat function should only be used for troubleshooting or logistics questions. Questions or comments about items on the agenda should be made verbally. In the event the public is unable to access tonight's meeting, it will need to be continued to a time and place certain. And currently, we only have applicants or members of applicants' teams on remotely, and then Rebecca. I will now hand the meeting back over to the chair.
Okay. At this point, if everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it. This is Martha.
All in favor of the agenda, speak your names.
Ben.
Martha.
Stephen?
Rebecca.
Agenda is approved. Unless anybody has anything to add at this point, we can move forward to the first application for 100 East State Street. Tom Stearns. Come up and have a seat at the table. And describe your application for us.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. So I'm in the process of purchasing 100 East State Street here in Montpelier and converting the building, which historically has been a residence, from its current office use to a residential boarding house building. So I can describe more about that if there's questions, but congregate living is a new policy in the town that allows for group living. And many of you may be familiar with this sort of thing from dormitories or sometimes like traveling nurse housing or things like that. So this is something that's meant for single professionals or couples who are looking for a more communal shared living experience. And the property is really quite perfect for it. It's 3.6 acres. There's rooms for lots of gardens. There's privacy up there. And because it hadn't been chopped into a bunch of apartments already, it's really well suited for a simple bedroom and bathroom and then some shared kitchens. So, but for today, the primary thing that we're talking about is exterior. And so we have a few dryer vents on the south facing side. That's the visible side from the road, from East State Street. We have some bathroom vents up there, also on that side, and on the west side. And yeah, as Meredith is moving through these, let me know if there's other questions. And then on the north side, again, which is the least visible side facing away from the road, there's a stove vent, a kitchen stove vent. So the vents that we've chosen are ones that are intended to be extremely durable to the weather and also.
Oh, was that not on? Thank you.
Yep.
Rebecca, could you hear? And Ben?
No,
Okay. So,
No problem.
next time, feel free to like, let us know, Rebecca, if you can't hear.
I didn't know how to interrupt. Sorry.
It's okay. You can always, something like that, you can always send me a message.
Okay, hi, everybody. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So my name's Tom Stearns. I'm working on converting the 100 East State Street property, which is now commercial offices, back to its sort of original use, which was as a residential building. And today what we're talking about mostly is these exterior things, but just in brief, the project seeks to attract single professionals or young couples who are interested in a more shared living situation where we are perhaps cooking meals together more, sharing some other facilities there. People have their own bathrooms and their own bedrooms, but the property is really well suited for this. And you may be familiar with this, obviously dormitories that many of us have been in are like that. And this is something, a congregate living model that is actually proving to be really successful, both financially for people, but also because let's just say it's like there's a loneliness epidemic out there. And so bringing people together who are interested in that is really important. So this is an exciting project that I'm involved with. Today, we're talking about the vents leaving the building, as that's the only exterior change that we're making. Everything else is just inside the building. So on the south side, which is what Meredith has up, we've got some dryer vents and bathroom fan vents. If you go over to the west side, there's more bathroom vents there.
Oops, west, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
East side.
East side, yep. Sorry, east side. And then on the north side, there's a stove vent right there. So again, the south side is the one that's visible from East State. And so those have these two small dryer vents and one bathroom fan vent. What we're seeking to do is to have these be as nearly as invisible as possible. So the desire is to have them be very high quality for the weather, but then something that we can paint to help it disappear. You've all seen things painted in the attempt to hide them, and if it's a little bit off, it really stands out even more. So not trying to do that, but trying to have it blend in. So that's as far as the building goes. The other changes to the property that are before this committee here have to do with some trees that are getting removed and some of the parking and pavement that's getting removed. There is a lot of parking spots there, maybe 2 spots for every resident that is going to be living there. So that's totally unnecessary. We want to create more permeable surface for rainwater protection also, and also more room for gardens. And so, Meredith, I don't know if you have the actual.
Yep, I can go back. It's on the, give me a second. I don't want to make people busy.
Yeah,
As I scroll madly.
thank you.
Yeah, I'll go back to this one.
Okay. So this is the actual right now. So you can see there's a loop road and the full, a big parking lot there. We're proposing to reduce that by, I think, 56%. So as you see, there'll just be the main road coming in up to the building. It will be widened a little bit, which was the request by the fire department, fire chief. And also you see the fire truck mocked up in there. That creates a turnaround zone. So there is a little bit of new pavement to clarify these 2 parking areas. But then that leaves the entire open space. It's just full sun, beautiful flat space for gardens, lawn, some fruit trees, things like that. So the removal of the pavement, we've got the vents, the removal of the pavement, and then a few trees that are getting removed. So.
And the handicapped access ramp on the
Oh
front.
yeah, let's look at that while we're in this
Yep.
drawing here. handicap access ramp is right there next to the front entrance and a little paved zone there to roll in. Currently, there is a movable handicap access ramp that's in the garage up there. It's a little rickety, and also it's takes 2 or more people to move it. Anytime you need to move it, that's not really accessible. That's a pain in the butt. So we're proposing to have that there right off the front.
Will that,
Ramp.
sorry.
It'll be metal.
That'll.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give me a second and stop the share and see if I can find where I think we had the railing details in here. I'm trying to remember if you had.
I don't know if we do.
Is the floor surface of the ramp a smooth metal or is it an open, like a grating?
I mean, if it's open and graded, that helps with snow and not having to, be shoveling it all the time. Although honestly, depending on the grates and the like freezing, thawing, nasty snow that we can sometimes get, it's just still needs to be managed. So I haven't chosen the specific one yet for the track.
They make one that has a narrow opening between the slats. You can get it in galvanized.
Yeah.
Which you never have to do anything with.
Yeah.
And they make one that has a wider opening, but they make one a little narrower in case somebody's wearing heels.
Yeah. Okay.
They don't go through.
Or
Right.
also
But-
various canes, things like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I highly recommend those.
Terrific. Thanks. I'll take that advice. That's great. Yeah, I put one in for my mom in our home a number of years ago, and it was solid, which meant we had to shovel it all the time, but it also meant there was no risk of anything getting stuck in it. So narrow sounds good. And the final piece is some trees and tree removal. Meredith, would you be able to bring that landscape design up? There's 5 trees that we're talking about. 5 main trees we're talking about. Half dead one, an all dead one, a couple of fallen ones. And the main ones that are gonna like visually change things are these 3 spruces that Meredith is circling right now. Those are 2 of them are pretty big. One of them is medium size. They block some of the view up into the property or out from the property. But the other thing that they do is they block about 50 to 70% of the winter sun from hitting the building. And that's rough. And so the plan.
I'm just going up to that view of the trees that you sent the photo.
Sure. Yeah, so those are the 3 spruces from the roadside. And those are the view of them from the yard side. So what we're proposing to do is to remove those trees, let the sunlight all the way in, expand the views from the property to the local hills, and plant a hedge there that would be, eventually get to maybe 8 or 10 feet high along that whole edge that would create the same privacy screen that is currently there by these 50-foot tall trees without blocking any sun. For those of you who know the property, this is a very steep slope that goes down to East State Street. So all the houses along there, it's only when you're in the second floor of those houses that you can even see onto this property. So that's why just like a small 10-foot hedge would completely block that view.
Hold on. I had pulled that up on a Google view.
And to be clear, one of the things I love about this property is it's 3.6 acres. It has beautiful forest. And so we plan to tend and care for it well. But trees blocking half of your sun all winter, we already have long and dark enough winters up here.
There's a house.
Mm-hmm.
There's that slope. This is down a little bit further down the hill so that you can see
Mhm.
where those spruces are and where the
Yeah.
house is. And so there'll be a hedge. Call on there.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
I think that covers the
I think
areas.
Yeah. that's all the
Happy to answer any questions and
If I remember correctly, the outside of this building is brick. Is that
correct.
correct? Yeah.
Yeah, brick and granite.
And
Or is
when-
there,
when
I'm
do you
sorry.
intend to put the hedge in?
When?
Yeah.
I hope to be able to cut those trees this fall and put the hedge in the spring.
We're not talking a series of years.
No,
Up there. Okay, that's
No.
what I was concerned of.
nope. It may be that it gets planted, the entire length, which maybe is like 150 or more feet. We might just do that one section where those trees are, first, and that's less than 20 feet. So maybe in 2 phases.
Were there any, just quick question, were there any pictures of whatever railing on the handicap ramp?
No,
was going to be?
I'm sorry, I didn't include any of those,
Yeah,
Okay,
but happy to.
I think I had talked to Tom when he was submitting this because he wasn't quite sure. And so I figured that was one of
Okay.
the things you guys could maybe provide guidance on if we needed to come back. If you wanted to see a specific design, we've got,
I want it to be sturdy,
pictures.
totally durable to the weather and, and not be an eyesore.
So I can zoom in, there's some little pictures on the handouts you guys got of closer images of the front of the building where this will go. So I will zoom in on that.
were you
Best I
thinking of
can.
probably a metal structure, metal grate, fine, thin opening grate for, by the way, they work really well. I've been using those for the last 15 years
Yeah.
and I haven't had to shovel a step
Great.
in the entire
Love that.
time.
I've shoveled enough snow.
Yep.
So yeah, you can see the building. So there's the central entrance there. The area we're talking about is immediately to the left,
Mhm.
and it would ramp right up to that landing, basically. It's not far. It's only 2 steps up,
Yep.
so it doesn't have to go much. And since we're going to be adding some pavement around in that area, we can, it'll be a solid surface for it to come into.
2 steps up to about 14 inches ballpark, which is 14 feet, which would maybe go to the edge of the building.
Yeah, I think from our quick guess, it wouldn't quite go that far, but
It might
like
be
that.
nice just to use a black iron.
there's this beautiful, it's a good point because I don't know if you can zoom in enough to see it, but right above that entrance
Rainy.
is a beautiful original railing.
Oh, up
And
here?
then, yeah, up there, that is like a black iron. And so I like that idea.
So maybe a horizontal black iron railing. This Mr. Railing makes Mr. Iron specialty.
A lot of steel rails.
Right.
But-
I mean, that can
It's
definitely
the,
be a recommendation
Okay.
that they try to, echo the
Yeah.
existing black railing. It's been a while since I've been up there. I'd forgotten
Above
about
the
that.
port.
Yeah, it's really cool. And there's some also available above the sunroom kind of thing that bumps out all the way over there on the east side that
Mhm.
Meredith's showing. That's got a whole railing up there.
Is that also an iron railing?
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. So I can look at some cost things there. It's an expensive building. Renovations right now are really expensive. And so I'm watching every penny.
Tom, I see that your application says that it's that the property owner is Granite Hill Partners.
Correct.
Is that you?
No, I don't own the property yet. Closing is in 10 days.
That's the present,
Correct.
that's the present, okay. Will you own this property yourself or as part of a group?
Initially it would be myself as part of a LLC, and then others over time.
Others that are living there or others that are,
Probably others that are living there. Yeah.
Anyone have any other questions, comments, suggestions? If not, there's a series of criteria.
I have some quick comments,
I'm
but
sorry, go ahead.
I think it's a great project and um I'm certain you've thought way harder about this than I have because I've just looked at it, but the parking seems a little like it seems far to have the cars that far away to park there. And I was also like wondering about whether there was an opportunity for like covered parking with some like solar access or
Yeah, I've thought about that. I was actually just talking to my electrician who does solar stuff too. And so we're part of the idea is to remove the car dominance of the property.
Yeah.
And so the area right outside the front door of the house, this is the area where instead of having your car, it'd be nice to have as much gardens right there as possible and not have all of it taken up. So the idea is that, yeah, you can pull up there right to the house, unload groceries, unload furniture, do whatever you need to do. And then some people stay parking there. And then there's this other spot that's out of the way a little bit. I want to have as little square footage of this beautiful, well-drained, fertile soil covered in pavement and cars. But I do need to have at least some spots for cars.
Yeah.
So that's the thinking in having this 2 spots like that.
Yeah.
But if we were to put another parking area with solar panels, it would be like above the handwritten text in there to the north, back against that. Yep, that whole area there.
Uh-huh.
That basically would give it full southern exposure. But we would then need to have cars come into the interior of the site.
Should be a bummer.
I'd be curious about right there, because with taking that dead maple out, it's there, that area is no longer shaded, the kind of the lower parking area. Meredith, if you go down a little further to the other
Oh, this
side.
one, yeah.
See, it says dying maple removed. That would have blocked, if that area is covered and has solar panels on it, I think that would have pretty good exposure now.
Yeah. And then that building, the detached building is a garage
Correct.
and will it become housing or would it become?
No, it's gonna be like a art studio and storage and garden studio and shed and things like that.
But there's no vehicle access to it.
Correct.
I'd like to weigh in on a couple things. One, I really like the idea of the black railing, and I think I think that's nice versus the metal, which I think will look out of place. But I understand, and especially as somebody who does snow removal, why you're thinking about those things. And the other thing, I follow the email thread on this project. It's really fun to see the pictures. So thank you. That's great. And then also, but looking at the site plan, if to encourage the car-free, life, and that most of the people probably are headed downtown, would you consider taking one of those spots kind of near where the spruce has been removed and creating stairs or a way to walk downtown versus like walking down the driveway, which puts you away from town and then zigzagging back? And that's like I'm just looking at the site plan and thinking about it and thinking that'd be nice. It's not like a need or anything on my end.
Well, great. Your idea happens to be the original idea of the builders of this building.
Yeah.
Because
I remember that.
there is a beautiful staircase that goes down there already, exactly where you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's the original thing with the building. There's 3 different staircases that go down through and dump right down on East State Street. So we will be restoring that, cleaning it up, and definitely.
I bet you with black railings too.
That's where the stone like column is down at where it flattens out, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a little stone column and little bit of low wall, sort of buried in a clump of trees right next to a utility pole, just where it's starting to flatten out a little bit.
Mhm.
Is there a railing on those stairs?
No, they're actually stone on the side, so it's not exactly a railing, but it's built up all the way.
So like wall almost.
Yeah, like small walls.
I remember those as a kid. They're really It's a cool staircase.
It's really cool. It's got like beautiful quartz stones embedded into it. And
Yeah.
it's of the same era and style as the building. So of
No.
course, when this was built 120 years ago, there were not cars coming around.
Right.
And so definitely people were mostly on foot. So they built it with that in mind.
It's a real win to get that back. Thank you.
Mm, yeah.
It's a very walkable property.
Yeah, it is. And they terraced it. And that's part of what they would do back then. Redstone is the same way. It's all terraced in the forest around it, like big terraces, like 10-foot and 20-foot shelves. So this property's got that too.
I'm very familiar with this property. It looks on the house that I lived in for 20 years. The back of it.
On Marvin or
Mhm. So you can wave.
nice. Thanks for your questions, Rebecca. Come walk the stairs sometime.
Will do.
Any other comments, questions, suggestions, other than the recommendation that the railing would be for the handicap ramp? The ramp and the railings would be metal to replicate as closely as possible the existing metal railings on the building. And again, there's a set of criteria, and I will read through those. Number one, exterior design and materials of new construction or alterations of existing buildings shall be consistent and compatible with the characteristics of the existing building or other properties in the district. The removal of historic materials, there really aren't any removal other than part of the pavement. Character defining features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize a historic building shall be preserved. Deteriorated character defining features shall be repaired rather than replaced, and I don't see that there's any deteriorated features. Any treatments that cause damage to historic materials, including but not limited to chemical or physical treatments, shall not be approved, and this application is acceptable. Existing buildings shall be recognized as a physical record of their time, place, and use. Any new development shall be differentiated from the old, but shall respect and be compatible with the massing, size, scale, architectural features, detailing, and overall character of the primary historic building and nearby historic properties. Acceptable. Proposed landscaping shall be compatible with the neighborhood and the site on which the project's located. Acceptable. Location and appearance of all utilities, mechanical equipment, trash storage, and fencing shall be cited to minimize adverse visual impact or adequately and appropriately screened from public view. Acceptable. Rhythm, visual patterns established by the alterations of solid walls and openings in the facade of a building shall create a rhythm. That's not blanked out, but there's really not much there that other than the vents. Patterns of solids and openings shall be preserved to the extent feasible. Venting is acceptable. Architectural features including but not limited to cornices, windows, shutters, fan lights, entablature, trim, and other forms of molding or character defining detailing prevailing on the existing building shall be considered in the alteration of a building. Acceptable. Quick question while I was thinking of it, is there any lighting as you're going up the driveway or the stairs?
Currently, there's no lighting except on the building. So no, going up the driveway, no, and on the stairs, no, there isn't any. There's street lighting, and since we're talking about East State Street, there's all the new plans there.
Mhm.
And so, but no other specific lighting.
Would they need to come back if they wanted to install some solar lights going up the driveway or the stairs?
Probably, yeah. Because it becomes if it's a permanent thing and not just decorative lighting, then yes, they'd have to come back to design review.
Even if it's a solar light stuck into the ground? They work really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you know if we're
Okay.
gonna do anything
Yeah.
exciting with
Well,
lights.
you can come
My-
ask her, and she can either administratively approve it or tell you
Yeah.
you gotta come back.
Yeah.
My
And
inclination is that there's already enough lights
Okay,
and around. So it's nice to see the stars.
Yeah. You wait and see, and then when you've got people living there, if people decide they want some additional lighting, you can work it out then.
And one more. Landscaping, screening, and site furnishings. Projects within the design review district and subject to the landscaping requirement shall consider the following. Site furnishings including fencing, seating, other types of site furniture visible from the street or side yards. Does landscaping obscure or undermine key architectural patterns or elements of historic buildings? And then mechanical equipment screening. For historic structures, existing historic contributing resources such as street trees, fences, gates, walls, steps, gazebos, walkways, front and side yard patterns shall be retained or restored when impacted by the alteration of a building. Walls and fences shall be compatible with the site and the building in scale, traditional materials, and design that reflects the period of the building and or is compatible with the surrounding context. And that would also include the railing on the handicap ramp.
Can I make one little note? Just because we were talking about the stairs.
Okay,
I don't think it would need to come back to you because it's not landscaping per se. But if you guys wanted to just preemptively, so that neighbors didn't step in and have an issue, throw in that clearing, doing some trimming up and down those stairs, would be something that you would be perfectly okay with, because right now the stairs are pretty overgrown.
Yeah.
And
Lower section is overgrown. The upper section is fine,
yeah,
but yeah.
but that he wouldn't have to come back to you for
wouldn't that
changes
be
to
just
their.
under routine maintenance?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Their stairs,
Yeah.
maintenance is keeping them clear.
Yep.
Yep.
Nope.
Okay,
Yep. As long as you're not, clear cutting the hillside.
so again, with the recommendation, I'll write that in, that the handicap ramp railings would replicate as much as possible the existing iron railings on the building. And with that, all in favor of the application, speak your names.
This is Martha. I say yes.
Ben says yes.
Stephen says yes.
Rebecca says yes.
So it's approved by 4 votes.
Thank you very much.
So when Steve's done filling this out, if you could sign off on the recommendation form that you're okay with the railing recommendation, and then I will be able to just move forward tomorrow with issuing the permit train.
Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, I'll stick around to do that.
Awesome. Yeah, it'll be ready in just a minute.
But I need your signature on it, and I mean, I'm gonna write that in, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take the time to do it
Yeah.
now, but it's
Right in the
explained.
recommendation about the
Yeah.
railing.
And again, just the railing, iron railing, replicating as much as possible the existing iron railings on the building, which will look like it's always been there.
That's right. That's what we're going for.
Is
That
this-
one's mine.
That's yours. Thank you very much for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thank you.
Good luck with your project.
Thank you. I'm sure we'll see you again.
Okay, thank you. And we can move forward to the next application for 31 College Street. Is someone,
Yeah, so we've got
Online.
both Ben and I'm sorry, I don't know if it's Twyla or Twilla. Okay, so either one of you can discuss the project. And I'm happy. I was gonna maybe just pull up the elevation drawings first, just because the addition is sort of the big impact. If that's okay, but you guys can present the scope of the work however you want. I'm happy to share whatever you need.
Okay, so
You do need to introduce yourself though, for the record.
my name is Ben Graham, and I am the architectural designer for the project and project manager. So the project is a mostly a renovation. Most of the project happens inside the building, and the existing structure is mostly left as it is. There are a few window changes on the rear. Windows being taken out right there. There are a few extra HVAC ports on the building. And so the project is going to be a bathhouse. And the exact wording on this, Twila, maybe you can help. We've gone back and forth, bathhouse and clinic. But there will be a combination of bathhouse facilities as well as offices for professionals, masseuse, chiropractor, naturopathic physicians. And then then there's the addition, which is the right-hand side here. This addition is solely for the purpose of creating access for the third floor. In the process of this whole renovation, we were looking at the most practical and affordable ways to create as much access as possible. And so in all of the research in platform lifts and elevators and the such, this is the design that worked for our project, and this creates handicapped accessibility for the second floor work, offices, and clinic. The first floor is mostly accessible, but the bathhouse programming is mostly on the lower and middle floors, and the lower floor will not be accessible for wheelchairs. So the elevator just goes from the middle floor to the third floor. We also needed to create an egress, a fire egress, which I think if we look at the north elevation, you can see the main entrance, which pretty much mimics the existing entry. And then to the left of that is a door that is slightly lower, and that creates a fire egress off of one of the platforms on the stairwell, and allows people to egress directly from the stairwell, from the lower and the upper floors. And the canopy for the entryway also covers this egress. And so the addition is primarily a tower, fairly minimalist in its design, and the facade, the siding material is a vertical hemlock with a lifetime preservative. This is the name of the finish, which turns the wood into a gray, so it has a natural gray weathered look. And then the entryway under the canopy is also a wood finish, but that is finished more as a clear finish, highlighting the natural tone of the wood. And so the design intent for this addition was to stick with the modern design of the building, which is very different from the surrounding buildings there, but also to make a connection just to the materiality using wood, which is primarily used in the construction of most of the other buildings, to the other side of the school. So this is kind of an odd building. It kind of sits between the school, the old school buildings, which are very kind of institutional brick, and then the neighborhood with single family housing, mostly wood construction. And it doesn't follow either of those, so it's somewhat of an anomaly. And so this addition sticks with that pretty good. And yeah, this is what we came up with. The existing facade facing the street is unchanged. The facade facing the other building is unchanged to the south. And so the only changes are really to the north, which you're seeing now, and to the east. The east is fairly minimal changes, and then again, the most change here to the north.
But then I'm driving down College Street, this west elevation of this tower will be totally visible.
Right here.
Yeah.
I will.
Yep. That's weird.
We also have a landscape design, and there is an intention to have the front yard as a garden with an enclosed fence. The fence, the intention for the fence design is to come before you again in a future design review hearing. But we do have the landscape design presented here as well.
I want to go back to the siding of that tower because it is a very visible thing. Even with all that landscaping, you'll see the top half of it. And I don't see it rendered in the west elevation at all. You're just calling it out a little bit on the east elevation as 8-inch vertical hemlock, but it's not drawn at all in the west elevation.
Okay, so the detail, you mean?
Yeah, and I feel like it is a major piece.
When you say it's not drawn on the west elevation, can we look at that west elevation? I'm not sure if I'm following your train of thought in terms of what is not rendered.
I just have no siding detail on this west elevation at all.
To see the contrast between what it's going to look like here and up against the existing building, I think is the point, because there's nothing in color or anything, or the detail as to what this side is going to look like here. Do you see what I'm saying, Ben?
I don't see what you're looking at.
Sorry. My bad. I unshared to switch because I had to change screens, and apologies. So because this doesn't have the detail.
Right. No, that's my mistake. I'm not sure why that is not shown rendered with the vertical lines, but that is missing in this drawing. I apologize for that. But that would simply be the same vertical lines that you would see. It's an 8-inch as it's mentioned in the other elevation. It would be the 8-inch hemlock, which would just be the vertical line. So sorry, that's not shown. That was intended to be that.
Shiplap, not board and batten.
It would look like shiplap. What we typically do is a reverse board and batten, so it kind of looks like the traditional barn siding. But it would not be board and batten.
Yep.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term reverse board and batten,
Yeah,
but
I am.
essentially the boards with a batten behind it.
Yep.
All right, so that, and this would be the one that sort of looks like the weathered gray on this strip here?
The weathered gray would be on all three sides.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna go, because I'm sharing not my whole computer, but I'm sharing per type of program. So just if the committee members could let me know if they want me to go back to the current Google Street View, so you can sort of hold in your head the gray against the existing.
That would help.
Okay, and I don't know if you were changing, I can't remember if you're planning to change the colors on the front of the existing building, or if you were
No,
gonna
the
stay
existing
the
building would
same.
not be altered.
Okay,
The existing building is glass in the front, isn't it?
it's glass with gray metal, and right now that end is sort of white. So let me go back to the full front view here.
Actually, that addition, most of the year, obviously, and not in the winter, but most of the year, the backdrop for that would be that large
Be the tree,
tree there.
at least from that angle.
Trees behind it.
Yeah, the tree's
Yeah,
behind it, and
behind
then
it. But I'm just saying that it, rather than sort of sticking out against the sky or something, it does have a backdrop of greenery from that tree.
oh yeah, this is where it'll go.
Yeah,
On this side, and you've
Yeah.
got the gray, a pretty heavy gray / silver metal around all the glass on the front.
What is the use of the house that's to the left of the building we're talking about?
This one back here?
Yes.
That is it's owned by is it the physical therapy clinic
VTP.
with other medical offices
Yes.
as well?
yes.
Yep.
PTPT.
Yeah, VTPT. But yeah, it's physical therapy and some other associated practices are in that back building.
Is that privately owned or that building?
The building it's part of the condo association, that parcel that has so many of the buildings on it. That used to be the college.
Do you have any suggestions, comments about that addition, the siding?
I guess I wish I had more information. That's all.
What information would be the most useful? And maybe there's a way that I could provide that.
I mean, it's okay, Ben. I mostly just, it's more from a process standpoint of like, if we are approving these designs and getting, high quality drawings, I would like them to kind of have more information in them that is like reflective of what is actually going to be built that I am approving or not approving for the future, more so than I am particularly interested, because I trust you and I trust this project, that what is being built will be nice. It's more just setting a precedent of receiving drawings that have all the information in them that I am having to make some judgment on.
Yeah, so I hear that on the west side, I don't have that rendered as I do on the north side. But it would be helpful for me if I knew, maybe, because we do have information on what the finish is. We don't actually have a rendering of that, which is something that we could do. I mean, this could be in color, and there could be pictures of examples of what this finish looks like, if that would be helpful.
I mean, by virtue of this being the major piece that you're coming here for us to have some sort of question about, having more details of like what it truly looks like or how it's being put together, what a little bit of a section or a little bit more understanding would make me happier. But again, I I have
We
all the
do, we do
paperwork.
have sections, and there are structural drawings if, we could go through that if you would like to see more details than just the exterior.
No, I don't need to see sections of how it's built. I guess I was more referring to the siding and how it like connects and what the like, the details around what this truly looks like, a little bit more about how that awning is attached. What is that kind of brace that's holding that up there? Is that like hell, is that a steel thing? Is that a all wood? I just don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm approving, I guess.
Yep, so we do have this information in the drawings. Let me just, partly you'll have to excuse, I'm not in my office. I'm in Ohio right now at a funeral, so I'm not the most together. I'm looking on my phone for things. Okay, so on the north elevation, there are annotations that show that there are the support rods for the canopy, and there are two of them shown in that elevation, along with the dimensions of how high they are and where they connect to the building. And then if we go to the structural drawings, there are more details about the thickness. If we go to drawing A500, detail sections.
I'm gonna be honest, if that's in something that doesn't show the outside, I may not have given that to the design review committee, the A500. So you're gonna have to give me a minute. Just because that was one of those, like, because they're concerned with the exterior. And it was such a huge packet that give me a minute. I'm gonna go back out because I went to share the exterior. A500.
So that vertical
Yes.
hemlock will be the entire height of that, a little less than 7 feet width of that entry. On the backside, it shows the vertical hemlock with a trellis down below the cedar fascia.
Yes. So the trellis is if you look at the north elevation, you have the main entry in the center, and then to the left is the egress entry. And that is there are a couple of steps down into that stairwell. And then there's that trellis would be then on the east side of that egress passageway.
Yes.
And that is mostly for the entry of most of the people coming into the building, for them to have that entryway screened slightly, and there may be some, vines that grow up that or whatnot. But that's mostly as a visual screening for the people coming into the building, for that whole entry area not to be such a strong visual aspect of when you're entering into the building.
But again, that trellis is only on the east side, not on the west side. The west side is just the entire 2-story
Yes,
proposed vertical hemlock.
yes,
Okay.
yes. The west side is just that facade. The north side has 3/4 of the vertical hemlock, and then there's the entry canopy, which, as I mentioned, has the thinner wood slats, as shown, proposed 1-inch vertical butternut slats finished with the Valhalla Lifetime preservative. And then and then that actually wraps around to the east side behind the trellis. That same finish goes behind the trellis. And then above that on the east side is the vertical, the 8-inch wide vertical slats as well. The canopy is a fairly thin construction. There would be the wood fascia that's shown, cedar fascia finished with the same Valhalla lifetime preservative. Then you have the 2 support rods for the canopy structure holding it up. Those are 5/8. That would be a black metal. The attachments for that would be hidden behind the siding, so you'll just see that rod as it's shown kind of disappearing very minimally into the siding.
Nice.
The one thing that's not shown is the underside of the canopy, which would be the same vertical, the thin vertical butternut wood that is on the facade would continue overhead. And there are a few lights that are shown in the lighting plan, just directly down lights, as well as emergency lighting fixtures there as well.
Those are 1-inch wide vertical slats, so it's a lot of little narrow slats that would then
Right.
wrap the underside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives a little bit of aesthetic interest for the entryway.
Yeah, no, I think that's nice.
And then there's the tall vertical window that's next to the main entry, which is a wooden door that also has a thinner window in the door as well. And then that room is just what you walk into there is just the foyer, the entryway. And then that from there you walk beyond that into the reception area. And then to the left from that foyer is the elevator shaft.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure if this was made clear at the beginning of this discussion. This is going to become the main entrance to the building instead of the front facing.
Yes.
Because the ultimate plan is to then wrap around a fence around that front yard area. So this being called out with the different wood compared to the rest of the building, that's one reason. It's a different look and a different wood.
In this elevation, the egress door, Ben, is 6-8 feet behind the main door.
That's right.
Yeah, I like that
That's
better.
on the existing building.
Yeah, so you don't walk up and you're not confronted with 2 doors, one
Right.
that you want to go in and one you don't know why it's there.
Right. And that's partly the reason the trellis as a screen helps to further make that entry kind of not as noticeable.
Yeah.
Not entry, but egress.
Yeah.
So I'm on a borrowed computer and my power is running out. So I'm going to
Oh.
quickly get the person who owns it to help me. One second.
Oops.
Anybody?
Here we
have
go.
any
There's the trellis. Sorry, I
Other
was in the wrong.
questions, suggestions? No? Okay.
I'm happy for the project.
You know, that addition is it's less than 7 feet wide. So it'll be pretty narrow. I mean, and 8-inch widths, there's not even much hemlock there. I mean, it's that wide.
Silo.
Again, I can read through the criteria for the project. Number one, exterior design and materials of new construction or alterations of existing buildings shall be consistent and compatible with the characteristics of the existing building or other properties in the district. Additions and alterations to non-historic and non-contributing structures shall respect and be compatible with existing patterns and setbacks found in adjacent buildings. New additions on non-historic and non-contributing structures that overshadow or diminish the historic character of adjacent contributing structures are prohibited, and this application is acceptable. Existing buildings shall be recognized as a physical record of their time, place, and use. Acceptable. Proposed landscaping shall be compatible with the neighborhood and the site on which the project is located. Acceptable. Location and appearance of all utilities, mechanical equipment, trash storage, and fencing shall be cited to minimize adverse visual impact or adequately and appropriately screened from public view. Acceptable. Additions, alterations to buildings called for by public safety, accessibility, and fire codes shall be designed to maintain the character of the construction materials and features to the maximum extent feasible. Acceptable. Height of building additions shall not overwhelm the primary facade and must consider varied heights of existing buildings and adjacent buildings. Acceptable. Proportion, compatibility of relationship between width and height of facades as well as relationship of width to height of windows and doors. Acceptable. Rhythm, the visual patterns established by the alterations of solid walls and openings in the facade of a building shall create a rhythm. Acceptable. Architectural features, including but not limited to cornices, windows, shutters, fan lights, entablature, trim, and other forms of molding or character-defining detailing prevailing on the existing building shall be considered in the alteration of a building. Acceptable. Outdoor lighting fixtures. Structural design of outdoor lighting fixtures shall be compatible with the architectural design and function of the building and compatible with the neighborhood. Acceptable.
We haven't really discussed the lighting and
There are,
If there's several light fixtures in the packet that got loaded up, and then Rebecca, let me show you because you haven't seen these. But I have printouts here. So give me just a second. Make sure I'm sharing the right thing. Sorry, I've got a few different things that I have to open. Not that one. Just want to make sure that Rebecca actually sees them.
I had seen the lights in the packet, but there's more.
There's two different ones for the ones that go in the ground. Like those lights that Ben was able to get me. They're both sort of coppery. So this is one.
Oh,
It's
okay.
an in-ground light. And then let's see if it will let me just switch which one I'm looking at. No.
I'm guessing that's a nice complement to the like beach nut, like the woods, right? The wood tones that'll be there.
Well, those will mostly be in the landscape.
Yeah. Yeah.
And really the whole design of those is to not be noticeable at all. The goal of the landscape lighting is to not be noticeable. And so these are actually, pretty small, and they're going to be tucked in among the different plants. So you're actually going to see at nighttime, you're going to see the light, the actual light, and not the lamp.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
and during the daytime, you're going to see the plants, and these small copper lights will kind of disappear in and amongst them. So there's a bunch of them, but they're very small
Yeah.
and they don't throw a lot of light. So the landscape designer set them up based on the specifications recommended by the manufacturer to give a certain amount of light, which is pretty low.
Yeah. No, I think what I mean is I like the warm tone versus like cold, like the black or a silver or something like that. I like that choice. That's what I'm trying to
Yes.
say. Is I like it.
Well, that's funny. The Casey, who is also a part of this, and Twila, both preferred. Originally, the landscapers suggested a black fixture, and that was changed to this.
Are the circles on this rendering, is that what's these lights are indicated? I'm looking mostly on the walkway to the front entrance.
Yeah, so there's little
Black
black
door light.
circles.
Yeah, that's what those.
And then there's some with dots in the middle. So there's like one here under this tree. That's I can't remember if that's the cone one or the other one.
There's what they call an
There's one
area
here.
hat, which is a down light. And then the in-ground lights are basically a side wash because
Yeah, I
it
think those,
doesn't shine upwards because of the cover over. The light basically comes out of the side of those in-ground lights.
yeah, so it looks like you're doing the side ones here along the edges of the patio. Is that right?
Yeah, those are basically walkway
Yeah.
path lighting versus the cones, the double circles, the circle with the dot in it. Those are
Yep.
more lighting the landscape plants and such.
Yep. And they're super low lumens. They're really low. So I'll need to double check the lumen totals. So, some of these, it might get reduced a little bit, but these are going to be really, really low lumen totals.
I mean, they're like 4 and 5 watts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
It's pretty,
Nope.
pretty minimal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I will need to, pending the outcome, with the design review committee's vote tonight, I'll still need to go back through and just double check the lumen total. So I'll give you that as part of the final write-up here. But I wanted to get their input first before I went through the math.
Does anybody have any other questions about the lighting? So regarding that criteria, well, 15 outdoor lighting fixtures, that was acceptable. And then number 16, landscaping, screening, and site furnishings. Projects within the design review district and subject to the landscaping requirements shall consider the following: site furnishings, including fencing, seating, and other types of site furniture visible from the street or side yards. Does the landscaping obscure or undermine key architectural patterns or elements on historic buildings? And mechanical equipment screening, again, that's acceptable.
Well, wait a second. I don't think they're applying for that, are they?
Not the fence, but this is about the landscaping too. Yeah, the fence will have to come back. That's going to be a taller fence than, that's going to have to go to the DRB, the fence will. So we're going to do that in a whole separate permit, keep it distinct from all of these other items.
So again, based on those, do I hear all in favor, speak your names?
I'm going to abstain out of being friends with the whole sort of thing that's happening here.
Okay,
I'm going to abstain because I don't really understand exactly what they're proposing on the lighting.
For the
In the lighting?
Oh.
Okay, so so then it would end up being a no. We have to have three votes to,
Okay, then I'll say no because I don't understand exactly what they're proposing on the lighting.
What is your
Okay, could
question about
you-
the lighting?
the other option is to ask them to come back with more detail if you need it.
That would be my preference. That would be
Okay.
my preference.
understand what the lighting is or where it is?
Where it is, what exactly is proposed, how it differs from what is existing.
Okay, so I'm just gonna just flag, so, because I have another meeting that starts at 7. We could continue this to the next meeting. So with an understanding that we need to do a presentation and more discussion on the lighting. Because there is a lot of lighting. There's new lighting under the canopy and some other lighting, and we didn't have time to go into the details on that part.
That's my concern.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not sure there's
guess
enough
we- I
time
guess we
to go into the details on that one.
Well,
Well,
if-
right now, but
Yeah, I mean, that'd be 2 weeks.
I mean, I'm just careful with process because I'm
Yeah.
close friends with what's happening here.
So you
sure.
can disclose, so the big thing with the conflict is if you were going to benefit from the project, and usually that's considered financial. So as long as you disclose a personal relationship and just say, hey, I'm friends with them or I'm neighbors with them, but I don't feel like I actually have a conflict of interest,
I have
then you're allowed to,
interest.
okay. Then you've disclosed it, so it's up to you whether or not you feel like you still need to abstain or if you're happy to vote.
I'm happy to vote.
Okay.
And are you voting in favor?
I'll vote in favor.
And I will vote in favor also because I don't have any problem with the lighting.
okay, and I am gonna
And-
abstain.
Okay.
Rebecca?
So I think if all the lighting is in the packet, then I'm comfortable with it because it looks pretty good. It also seems like it's going to be minimal and very downlight. It doesn't seem broadcast out at all, really.
So you're voting in favor?
Yes, I just realized I may not have said the words.
Okay.
yes.
All the lighting,
just-
all the lighting is in there.
Yeah.
And this is all the lighting that I would be considering. If for some reason they decide to change lighting, they can come back when they come back to you with the fence permit.
Yeah. Rebecca's in favor.
Okay. So vote is 3-1 in favor. And I'll let you describe the next step for them.
Okay, and there were no recommendations. Okay,
No?
so I need to just go through and do up the administrative site plan report. I will let Michelle know that design review committee okayed it so that she can move forward with her building permit processing to get that all lined up. And as soon as my administrative site plan report is ready, we'll drop those dominoes. So like tomorrow, maybe the next day, I'm thinking. Hopefully we'll have those permits ready. When they're ready, do you want us to just email so somebody can just come pick them up versus relying on the local mail?
Yeah, that's great. I can easily come by.
Okay, awesome. Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for coming before the committee and good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As next item is to review the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from October the 6th?
Yeah, and I'll make a motion to accept them the way they are.
Do I hear a second?
I wasn't.
Rebecca will second.
I'll-
Oh, sorry.
Okay, yep, Rebecca got it.
Okay, all in favor of the minutes, speak your names.
Martha?
Stephen?
Rebecca?
Okay, the minutes are approved.
Oh,
Does
you're-
anybody have anything else, or do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn. This is Martha.
I'll second.
All in favor of adjournment, speak your name.
Ben.
Martha?
Stephen,
Rebecca?
meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.